As Democrats are talking about jobs, the economy, education, and things that actually matter to the American people, you have MAGA Republicans fighting with each other heading into the New Year's. And one MAGA Republican in particular, Tim Burchett, is making a very serious accusation against other MAGA Republicans. Let me play this clip and then let's discuss it. And then I want to show you a more broader pattern here. Play the clip.
Portfolios, and they love their money more than they do anything else, and they protect it, and they protect the people that do that. And by doing so, the old honeypot, the Russians do that, and I'm sure members of Congress have been caught up. Why in the world would good conservatives vote for crazy stuff like what we've been seeing out of Congress? It's how it works. You're visiting, you're out of the country, or out of town, or you're in a motel or a bar in D.C., and some whatever you're into, women or men or whatever, comes up, and they're very attractive, and they're laughing at your jokes, and you're buying them a drink. Next thing you know, you're in the motel room with them naked, and next thing you know, you're about to make a key vote, and what happens? Some well-dressed person comes up and whispers in your ear, "Hey man, there's tapes out on you. Were you in a motel room on whatever with whoever?" And then you're like, "Uh-oh," and said, "You really ought not be voting for this thing." I mean, and what do? It's human nature. And, no man or no woman actually is an island, and they know what to get at. If it's women, drugs, booze, it'll find you in D.C. and in most elected offices. And that's what people of power and influence do. And it's just, I've been in this game my whole life. I spent 16 years in the state legislature in Tennessee and 8 years as county mayor. And now I'm in my 5th year of Congress. But it's just, the stakes are higher, but the game is still the same.
So you see MAGA Republican Tim Burchett of Tennessee state that MAGA Republicans are voting against their conservative values, he says, because they are compromised by Russian hookers. That is what he's saying. A MAGA Republican congressman accusing other MAGA Republican Congress members of engaging in that behavior. But this is not the first time that Tim Burchett has made statements like this. Let's just take a look at a few others. Here, when Tim Burchett was defending his vote not to expel George Santos, as most of the other MAGA Republicans did the same thing, here's what Tim Burchett said. Play the clip.
Don't you have any concerns about his conduct? I mean, all the allegations, the criminal charges, he's admitted to lying about so much of his life. I mean, why should he be walking around here going to classified briefings and the like?
To say that anybody in Congress can cast stones, I mean, we're a bunch of sinners. And that's basically what we all are.
And you see Tim Burchett saying that we're all sinners. George Santos is a sinner. We're all sinners. So why would we vote against George Santos in a situation like that? By the way, here is Tim Burchett on Newsmax discussing a relationship between Nancy Mace and Kevin McCarthy and suggesting that MAGA Republican Nancy Mace has a lot of compromise on the former spineless Speaker of the House, the now resigned member of Congress, Kevin McCarthy. Play this clip.
He also has $17 million in an account that he'll be messing in a lot of people like mine and Nancy Mace's campaigns, I'm sure. And so
I don't know if he does that with Nancy Mace. She could come back at him with some stuff that he doesn't want out there in the public, I think, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, she's already told me. She said, "I hope he does that with me," and she'll take care of him. She takes care of her own. But
And as we said on the MeidasTouch network, it seems that all these MAGA Republicans are doing right now is just extorting each other with compromise. Now, speaking about Nancy Mace, about half a dozen of her staff members recently quit, saying that she facilitated a very sexually abusive work environment filled with sexual harassment, where Nancy Mace would very frequently talk about her sex life in her own congressional office. By the way, here is a prayer breakfast that Nancy Mace spoke at recently, where on her own she told the crowd the reason she was late was that her fiance was begging her for premarital sex, and she said, "Later, honey, we'll do it later," or words to that effect. And this is what she's talking about at the prayer breakfast, and there's just kind of silence in the room. Here, watch what she says. Play the clip.
On this together. Another year, another standing room only event. And when I woke up this morning at 7, I was getting picked up at 7:45. Patrick, my fiance, tried to pull me by my waist over this morning in bed. And I was like, no, baby, we don't got time for that this morning. I got to get to the prayer breakfast and I got to be on time. And a little TMI, but he can wait. I'll see him later tonight. But I was here early.
Relaxing bathroom trips are great, but dealing with the aftermath, not so much. Wiping only spreads poo around. Give yourself the ultimate clean and turn your bathroom into a personal oasis with the refreshing stream of clean water from a Hello Tushy bidet. Now, I'm so glad I made the switch to a Hello Tushy bidet. Now I can go an entire day without an itchy bum or worrying about those, embarrassing skid marks on my underwear. Washing with a Hello Tushy bidet prevents poop particles from spreading to your hands and everything you touch. Hello Tushy attaches to your existing toilet, transforming it into a personal sanctuary. Make your post-bathroom experience even better with their precision nozzle adjuster, offering a targeted stream that provides an effective yet gentle clean that is 2 times better than wiping alone. Every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. Join the over 1 million real poopin' humans who've made the switch. Hello Tushy is offering our listeners an exclusive limited time offer of 15% off your first bidet order, plus free shipping. Go to hellotushy.com/Meidas for 15% off all bidets. That's hellotushy.com/Meidas and enter promo code Meidas at checkout. See site for details.
And then you have MAGA Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullen right here from Oklahoma, stating that MAGA Republican Congressmember Matt Gaetz would crush erectile dysfunction medication on the House floor, chase it with energy drinks so he could go all night in having sex, and that this is what the MAGA Republicans would talk about. Play the clip.
You got to think about this guy. This is a guy that the media didn't give a time of day to after he was accused of sleeping with an underage girl. And there's a reason why no one in the conference came and defended him, because we had all seen the videos he was showing on the House floor that all of us had walked away of the girls that he had slept with. He'd brag about how he would crush ED medicine and chase it with an energy drink so he could go all night. This is obviously before he got married. And so when that accusation came out, no one defended him, and then no one on the media would give him a time of the day. All of a sudden he found fame because he opposed the Speaker of the House back in November. And he's always stayed there. And he was never going to leave until he got this last moment of fame by going after a motion to vacate.
And here is MAGA Republican Matt Gaetz defending George Santos and saying, look, George Santos's behavior and using money that he stole on OnlyFans accounts, that's similar to another Republican colleague of ours, Duncan Hunter, who was stealing money to pay for his sexual escapade. So what's wrong here? That's what Matt Gaetz is saying in the speech here. Listen to this. Play it.
It was a procedural double bind that shouldn't be held against Mr. Santos as some sort of adverse inference. Let's also talk about this precedent. The fact pattern as to Mr. Santos is remarkably similar to the fact pattern of former Representative Duncan Hunter. Duncan Hunter used campaign money on girlfriends and trips and home improvements and all sorts of personal lavishes. He was indicted for those crimes and continued to serve in Congress. He pled guilty to a number of those crimes and continued to serve in Congress. He was in Congress for like an additional pay period after having pled guilty to the very same things that Mr. Santos has been indicted for.
Oh, and then of course you have Lauren Boebert going to a public theater, blowing vape smoke in people's face and engaging in sexual acts with her boyfriend at the time. Oh, and then there's a recent news story about how the co-founder of Moms for Liberty, Bridget Ziegler, was involved in these sexual trysts and this threesome that turned potentially criminal when her husband, Christian Ziegler, is alleged to have sexually assaulted the woman who was in the threesome. And then there's all these videos right now. Apparently a second video has surfaced between Bridget Ziegler and this other woman who is alleging that a sexual assault took place from Christian Ziegler. Bridget Ziegler sits on the Sarasota School Board, and they voted 4-1 to remove her. She was the one vote not to remove her. She's refusing to leave the school board. Christian Ziegler's the head of the Republican Party in Florida. And that's the environment you have right there at a local level in Florida. And by the way, here's Madison Curn, who talked about former member of Congress, former MAGA Republican, former member of Congress. Remember what he was talking about here? Play this clip.
Sexual perversion that goes on in Washington. I mean, being kind of a young guy in Washington, with the average age is probably 60 or 70. And I look at all these people, a lot of them that I've looked up to through my life. I've always paid attention to politics, guys that, then all of a sudden you get invited to, like, well, hey, we're going to have kind of a sexual get together at one of our homes. You should come. And I'm like, what did you just ask me to come to? Yeah. And then you realize they're asking you to come to an orgy. Yeah. Or the fact that, there's some of the people that are leading on the movement to try and remove, addiction in our country. And then you watch them do, a key bump of cocaine right in front of you. And it's like, wow, this is wild.
And then after a sex tape came out with Madison Curn and his male cousin, he had to record this video and say it was locker room play. Here, play this clip.
Now, this video was just stupid locker room talk between two cousins that grew up like brothers, taken long before I served in Congress. And my cousin Steven that they're attacking is my ADA. He's family, and he's my best friend. The article published in the tabloid, the Daily Mail, didn't even bother to fact check any of this or send the video to my office before they ran this with misinformation. The media lies. It shouldn't surprise any of us.
And then here, there's this video from Donald Trump at a speech he gave recently where he says that a general came up to him who's seen a lot of war, a lot of battles, a lot of death, and that the general told Donald Trump that the bravest thing that this general had ever seen is when Donald Trump debated Hillary Clinton and said how in the Access Hollywood videotape where Donald Trump brags about grabbing women by the genitals, that the way that Donald Trump defended his conduct when he was on that audio recording and said it was locker room talk. Donald Trump says that the general said that was the bravest thing the general had ever seen. Play this clip.
But I went onto that stage just a few days later, and a general who's a fantastic general actually said to me, "Sir, I've been on the battlefield. Men have gone down on my left and on my right. I stood on hills where soldiers were killed. But I believe the bravest thing I've ever seen was the night you went onto that stage with Hillary Clinton after what happened. And then that woman asked you the first question about it. And I said, locker room talk. It's locker room talk. What the hell? What are you talking? Locker room talk." That was not a great...
And then I'll show you this video right here back in 2022. And this is Democrat Ted Lieu in this video, who talks about as Democrats are trying to build a better future for the American people. What are Republicans doing? Here, play this clip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. President Joe Biden has done an awesome job creating jobs. He is a jobs president. Last year, 6.6 million jobs were created. In the last 14 months, working with congressional Democrats, 7.4 million jobs were created, the most in United States history. Democrats are building a better America for the future and for the people. What are Republicans doing? I don't know. But last week, Republican Congressman Madison Curn bragged about being invited to cocaine-fueled sex orgies by senior Republicans. Don't believe me? Search for Madison Curn Republican Caucus on the internet. I yield back.
I think it's important that I share those videos with you because as Democrats are talking about actually moving the nation forward, that's what Republicans are engaged in. So I don't want this both sidesism out there. Oh, both parties have these issues. And if you go back and you look at what policies were implemented, what laws were signed because of the Democratic-controlled Senate and House of Representatives and President Biden in the White House, you see that Bidenomics is working. That's what I want to talk about. And I show you all that other stuff at the beginning to show you the corrosive, destructive, depraved way that the MAGA Republican Party has really kind of just transformed into this kind of Trumpian mutation. But let's talk about some good news here. Here, for example, is a reporter talking about how things are upbeat right now when it comes to the economy. Here, play this clip.
And as the holiday shopping season enters the home stretch, people seem to be feeling pretty jolly about the economy. The Consumer Confidence Index rose to more than 110 points. That's the highest number since July. The data is put together by a nonprofit business group called the Conference Board.
And let me show you a guest on Fox talking about consumer confidence. Play the clip.
Yeah, well, the consumer confidence report is up. We've got lower gasoline prices. We've seen inflation data come down.
And I'll show you this right here from Larry Kudlow and Kevin O'Leary on Fox. Here, play this clip.
I'm excited, Larry. We got the juice in printing money. We've got the Fed slowing down. We've got the soft landing. We've got broadening of the S&P 500 and the S&P 500. And obviously the Russell 2000. This is a fantastic holiday season. Rudolph the reindeer has arrived.
So those are the types of things that I want to be talking about, but we need to do this compare and contrast right here to fully understand that what's going on the Republican side right now is not normal. It's not conservative. It's this MAGA mutation. It's all very Trumpian. And I think we need to keep calling it out. I'm Ben Meiselas. This is the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers. Thanks to your support, and have a great day.
Thanks so much for watching. We're only a few subscribers short of 2 million subs. Please subscribe right now to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel for free and help us grow this unapologetically pro-democracy network.